So we're going to work here our progressions. Starting out, focusing on the hips, if we all remember that. The hips not twisting. That is the most important thing you can do to protect yourself. So first thing is getting down on the floor. You just go down like a squat. Get your hand down there so you got 3 points of contact, 4 points, and then you can come down and keep using the hands, rolling that hip down. It's the opposite of standing up, which we will get to, not today, but we'll get to that. So the first thing we're going to do, feet up in the air, knees up in the air, shoulders back. Just take a couple deep breaths first. Hands out over the top, feet out long, nice extension. Deep breath in and exhale. Grab onto the shins or whatever you got. If you can bring your hands behind the thighs, bring it up to the chest or to the torso. Deep breath and relax. All right. Feet on the floor. First thing we're going to do is get that lower back onto the floor. Here we go. If your lower back does not touch the floor, there's no way that's going to happen. Get yourself a rolled up towel, a pillow, a small pillow, anything underneath the lower part of the back so that when you take these core muscles, squeeze and roll that hip up in that pelvic tilt up, that lower back touches something. You don't want to just dangling in air there. Just get it down on the floor by squeezing the lower abs. So first of all, take the glutes, squeeze them, and feel how the butt comes up off the floor. Now take and squeeze the lower abs and feel instead the muscles working in the core to bring that lower back down on the floor. And that really is the difference from taking that squeeze the glutes, pushing the butt down, relaxing, and then lower abs. What will happen is that will come right straight down. That lower back will come down to whatever you're using and then release. Feet up, knees up like that is the easiest way to do this. If that is not a problem for you, extend out the left leg first. So you got the right foot on the floor, knee toward the ceiling, extend out that left leg, full extension, and then do the same thing we just did. Squeeze the inner thigh or squeeze the lower abs and then release. So you've got to give a little more pressure to get that back down. Here again, what you're looking for is making sure those hips don't shift left or right. You should feel right in the middle, and then as you come down, it flattens out and you feel the floor all the way left to right and then back up again. If you can't, if you're coming down on the side and rolling, get both feet on the floor so you have 2 brace legs. If you can do it with 2 brace legs, see if you can do it with 1. Squeeze and back down. Here you want to be careful you're not pushing down into the floor with the heel to help it out. That left leg is strictly a brace leg, no pressure on it. It's just to keep you from twisting. And back up, lower back down, and release. So if you're still not having any problems with the lower back, if you are, always go to the last one that you could do where you could maintain your form of keeping that lower back on the floor. So now I've extended both legs. I'm going to do the same thing, squeezing these lower abs, extending the spine out by bringing the hips forward and then releasing. So it's down, squeeze it back, or squeeze the lower abs one more time. Tight, back down, and up. All right, feet back up. We've got knees toward the ceiling, both feet on the floor. Arms out to the side. Let's start with the arms out. So you've got arms perpendicular to the torso. What you're going to do is that thing you just did, squeezing the lower abs, but this time you're going to try to get just a little pressure off of the shoulders. Just up and back down. Arms are out to the side so that you don't get tempted to bring the chin down to the chest and curl up. You want to come right straight up, chin towards the ceiling, and back down, but tighten the abs. So what can people do a lot of times with this one is lift through the chest. You want to squeeze that lower back into the floor, and that will shorten that muscle to the rib cage, bringing it up, and then release it back down. Up, squeeze, and back down. Up. So my cat's not with me today, but apparently my pet fly is. It's bugging me. up, squeeze it, and back down. Your shoulders do not have to come off the floor. Do not have to. If you just tighten up those core muscles and you can feel everything working from the hips up to the rib cage, as you take a little pressure off those shoulders and then back down again, you're doing it. Again, remember, it is not the length of your movement or the range of motion. It is getting the muscle groups working. And you want to feel this from the hips, hip up to the rib cage, squeezing it and back down. So there again, you've got both feet on the floor. You're stabilizing. If you extend one leg out, again, we'll start with the left leg out. Right foot on the floor, knee toward the ceiling, left leg fully extended. And then do that again, just up, squeeze the core, bring it up, back down. Again, when I say bring it up, it means just get some pressure released from the floor on the shoulders and then back down again. Make sure you're using the lower abs, upper abs to do this. So you want to feel this all the way through the core and back down. Nice and easy. Exhale as you come up. Concentrate on that lower back. Make sure it's on the floor flat. And then back down. Next place we go with this is both feet extended. So you got the legs out fully. Another adjustment to this is you can walk those heels out a little at a time. And you'll notice that the farther the feet get away from the body, the more the lower back comes up off the floor. So you can adjust this just by little steps with those heels out as you go until you get fully extended with both legs. And again, it's squeeze the core, shoulders come up just a little bit, and back down. Exhale as you come up. So take those muscles in the core, squeeze them tight, forcing the air out of the lungs by squeezing the core muscles, and then back down again. Wherever that spot is for you. You may want to take your hands behind the head. Sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. Fingers behind the head, not pushing on the back of the head, but just giving your head something to rest on as you do this. Up, hold, and back down again. All right, next. Here we go. Feet up on the floor like we were before. This is the crooked position. Feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling, knees at a 90-degree angle. We're going to start out with just a nice easy march from the crooked. Arms out to the side. So let's start out, arms straight out to the side. Knee stays at 90. Bring the leg up and back down again. Concentrate on the lower back. For right now, that is where your focus is, making sure that you're not feeling the weight shift from right hip to left hip, that it stays flat. And that means you have to squeeze those lower abs again, protecting that back. If you do that, get the back on the floor before you start, it's not going to shift. Up. So the arms are to help the torsos or the torso stay square to the floor. To start making modifications on this, to advance it, you start bringing the arms down in the side so you're making an arrow. So you start arcing those arms down. I've got them at 45 doing the same thing. Up and back down. So when we do these for the rest of the session, you really have to think which one of these was the right one for you. Where were you? And can you adjust just a little bit? So if you start moving those arms, those hands in toward the hips just a little bit, as you're bringing the foot up, you're taking less and less pressure off of the arms doing the work, and you're putting it into the core muscles doing the work instead. Up and back. All right. Another way you can do this, hands underneath the lower back. So you create this diamond that goes right under the butt, under the lower back. Doing the same thing, you're going to find this one's much easier, especially if you get your elbows down on the floor as you're doing this. So if the elbows are at a diamond, it makes it a little easier. Head's on the floor. The other thing you can do with this one is start bringing those elbows up off the floor just a little bit. So the elbows come up, shoulders come off the floor just a little bit. And now we're getting the upper body, upper core, upper abs involved as well. But this takes a lot of pressure off the lower back when you put the hands underneath the butt. Up and up. And we're good. and back down. All right, we got time yet. We're going to go into a bridge. So back to the crook position, lower back flat on the floor. We're going to take and just roll that hip again. Don't push through the heels. Now, what I really want you to concentrate on here is that you squeeze the lower abs, bringing that hip forward, rolling it up without pushing through the heels. So you're not lifting the butt off the floor by pushing through the heels. You're rolling the hips and bring it back down. So the way to feel the difference, this time push through the heels and pick the butt up off the floor. And none of the work is happening in those lower abs at all. Glutes are getting used, but more of the hamstrings, back of the thighs. So to start out, and anytime you do a glute bridge, the first thing you should be doing is squeezing those lower abs, getting the back flat on the floor, and then start squeezing the glutes. Tighten up those muscles in the butt to bring the butt up off the floor and then back down. Here again, what you want to make sure of, what I see a lot is knees roll out to the outside. They flare out like a clamshell or a butterfly and then back down. So as they come up, the knees go out. We're not working the glutes at that time. We want to make sure that we're squeezing the lower abs, bringing the butt up off the floor, squeezing the glutes, and back down. Picking the toes up off the floor, heels on the floor. This is a completely different exercise. When you bring the toes up, you're working the backs of the thighs, those hamstring muscles. Now when you push up and drive through those heels to come up, you're going to feel it in the back of the thighs more so than in the butt. So it's up. All the pressure is going through the heels and back down, up. So that is a really good hamstring exercise. What we're working for right now is the glutes. So it's up, squeeze it, and back down. Bring it up and back down. So again, here, if you're coming up and your core is really weak, your knees are going to go from side to side. You're going to shift, get the arms out to the side, get those right flat on the floor, and back down. If you're coming up, if you can get that butt all the way up, what you're looking for is a straight line from the back of the knee to the shoulder blades. Don't ever take yourself where you hyperextend the back and you're starting to put all sorts of pressure on the neck. If you feel the shoulder blades doing all the work and going up into the lower neck, get down, you're too high up. And back down. So if you go up there and you just stay for a couple counts, squeeze those glutes and relax, you're going to feel which muscles exactly are working. And that should be the ones outside of the butt, those medial glutes. And then you'll also feel the hip flexors and the thighs doing some work in here. Down, up, and back down. So whenever we do a glute bridge, hands out to the side, walk them in a little at a time, creating that arrow, bring them in toward the butt. So, and again, the farther out you go with those feet, the harder that the glute bridge is going to be, the more the glutes have to work. So I always say start out with the heels right next to the butt, coming up, and then walk them out just half a foot, 6 inches, up and back down, out, up, and back down. So a little at a time, each time you go, and relax. All right, so we did hamstrings on the back of the thighs. We did the glute muscles on the back. That was really the rear chain. So we take that front chain this time, get the heels right up to the butt, arms out to the sides. So you're in a crook position. Knees, hips, and toes are all in alignment. Don't let the knees touch. You got that little space between. Start by bringing the left leg up first, just a little bit, and then bring the right leg up. And back down nice and slow. So you're barely coming off the floor, just a little bit up, a little bit up. And now making sure that lower back stays on the floor as you bring the feet down slowly. It's in that drop where you're going to feel all the work. If this doesn't work for you, use 1 foot at a time. But the easiest way to get both feet up off the floor is to pick the left leg up first, then pick the right leg up, and then back down nice and slow. Don't come up very high. No problems with that. Get the feet out a little farther from the body, squeeze the lower abs, bring them up, and back down. Again, feel the difference. Walk the feet out from the butt just a little bit. Bring that left leg up first, and then bring the right leg up. And you realize how much easier that is. And that may be where you're at for strength in the lower abs right now. Up and back down one more time. Bring it up and back down. All right, extend both legs out. We're done with that. Arms out to the side, right straight across. So you've got a T going on here. Arms are perpendicular to the body. Bring the left knee up and drop that left knee with the knee bent at a 90. Drop it over the side, over that right leg, making sure that the shoulders do not come off the floor. Rotation wants to happen in the middle of the back. As long as you keep the shoulders on the floor, that's where it's going to be, where the back does rotate. Once you're out on the side, take a couple deep breaths. Deep breath in, exhale through the mouth, and let that leg drop just a little more. You should feel a nice stretch out on the outside of the hip. We use the legs and the hips, glutes a lot, so I want to make sure we get these muscles stretched out. Cooled off. And then if you can, extend at the knee just a little bit. So you've got that knee at 90 right now. See if you can just extend that knee out just a tad. Just a tad. And you'll feel a little more stretch through the glutes, through the outside of the hip. Bring that heel all the way back to the butt before you roll back to center. Taking all the stress off that lower back. Knee up at 90 again. Left knee up over the hip and drop that left knee out to the left side. Right straight out to the side. Only as far as you can hold it. Hold that lower back on the floor. Because you're going to get to that point where you're dropping that knee down and the hips are going to turn with it. The minute that happens, bring it back just an inch. Deep breath in and then exhale. And it's amazing how much more you can get out of that drop without the hips turning. Bring it back up to center. Fingers intertwined. Grab behind the thigh. Just let it relax for a second. We're going to bring that toe in a flex position. So bring that toe up toward the knee. And then extend at the knee, stretching out like you're pushing the heel up into the ceiling, looking for that stretch from the heel going up to the below the knee. Heel to the knee. Make sure you're in alignment, toe, knee, hip, and then relax that. Let the toe relax. Just let it hang out there. And then use the arms to bring it this way. Got a little bend in that knee, going right above the knee. Start using the arms to pull that leg in. What you want to feel here is above the knee to the glutes. If you don't feel it there, start extending that knee out just a little bit as you bring the arms in. Like I say all the time, you have to make the stretch happen for you. And never expect that how you do it today is the same way you're going to do it tomorrow. You're going to have to adjust that knee just a little bit more. Relax the toe a little bit more. And then drop that out. We're going to go to the other side. Right knee at a 90. And then drop that right leg over the left. Deep breath in through the nose. Exhale. Let that air come out. Feel the hips roll just more. It just feels so good. Let the foot drop. Deep breath in. Exhale. Extend at the knee just a little bit. Stretch on the outside of the hip. Bring it back in. Heel to the butt as you bring it back, getting rid of that lever length so you don't hurt the lower back. Knee is at a 90, dropping that right knee out to the right side. Lower back doesn't twist. You'll feel where it tightens up on that inner thigh. Just stop right there for a second. Deep breath in, exhale, and just think of relaxing that leg. Hand on the outside of the thigh, bring it up. Fingers intertwined behind that right thigh. Toe back, flexing that toe towards the shin, and then pushing the heel up into the ceiling, above the heel to below the knee, the calf muscles. Again, take some deep breaths here. Cool off. Relax the toe. Use the hands to bring the thigh in toward the torso. So for me, I've got too much bend in the knee, so I'm going to extend the heel out just a little bit. And then at the same time, bringing the arms in. So I'm extending at the knee plus bringing the hands in just a little bit. And there's that constant, just minor adjustments until you feel it exactly where you want to, above the knee, into the butt. And then relax that. And let's go to seated. On the butt, on the butt, on the butt. We did all sorts of rotation already, so we don't need to do the seated rotation. Let's go into thighs out to the side or knees out to the side, hands behind in a kickstand. Walking the hands up, rolling the shoulder blades back, letting the knees just drop. You don't have to push them out. Oh, don't bounce them. I bounced them out to say, don't do that. And man, did I feel it. You really run a risk of hurting those groin muscles, of pulling those groin muscles. You don't want that. That's a long healing process. Shoulders back. You're not leaning into this. You got that nice straight neutral spine. And relax. We're going to go ahead and get up. So going on to all fours. And then bringing one foot up, grab onto the shin if you have to. And then pushing off the thigh on that one. Square the shoulders to the floor. Push through the heel of that front leg. It's a split squat, just like we did before. It's roll the hip forward and come right straight up. So what you should have felt as you were coming up was all sorts of engagement on the muscles. You're squeezing the glutes to roll that hip underneath. You're pressing through the heel, so you're using the thigh muscles, but you're also using the hamstrings as you do that push up and the calf muscles of that other leg. So you got like 5 muscle groups that are all involved in getting you up. They don't all have to be super strong. They just all need to have some strength to them. Legs out wide, right down the middle, going into a hip hinge, butt right straight back, arms down, let them hang there for a second, shake them out, roll them around, and reverse fly, bring the shoulders back, contracting the shoulder blades together. Deep breath in, exhale, bring the arms back down. Hands on the thighs, push up with the arms, bring those shoulder blades back so you're not using that lower back to bring you up. Shake it out, fingers intertwined, palms up overhead, shoulder blades back. Promise we'll have strength next time. The next one for the floor we're going to do is going to be quadrupeds. So we're going to be down on our hands and knees and also on the sides. Laying on the side, going through side planks and back up. And then doing bird dogs, taking them one at a time so you can find that spot that's best for you. Bring it back up on top. Down in a squat, arms across, reach all the way up overhead. Bring that hip forward. You're driving the hip up as you come up overhead. Deep breath in through the nose. Stomach out. Exhale, coming back down again into that squat. Feet are wide apart. Roll the hips, come back up on top. Deep breath in, stomach out, arms down. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I super appreciate it. Thank you. And I will see you again later this week or next. Thank you. You bet. Thank you. Thanks, Mary. Good. Glad you liked it. Gunner's back. Well, it was fun and it was great for the time. Good to have you back. I've been wondering. Good. Yeah. Yep. Doing something on the floor, I think. And initially, then between and a little bit lower than my shoulder blade, they were extremely tight and it's slightly painful, but that went away quickly. Inside the shoulder, lower part of the shoulder blades toward the spine. Yeah, those muscles. Well, so you're running into the thoracic spine there, and So I'm guessing when you did the landscaping, you're being safe, and what you're not doing is turning at the same time that you're lifting. But you're also not getting that rotation in there. Is my guess is you're not getting that rotation because you're right about at the thoracic spine. The other thing though is those muscles there get really tight. They get super tight. And I tell you, any problems you have with your back, anything down, even into the piriformis, will affect that middle back when you try to rotate because those muscles are tightened up and you have to work harder to get them to move. The fact that they did move is just means they were just tight. You had to break that fascia down a little bit before you made the rotation. Exercise is medicine. Totally believe it. Good. Good, good. Welcome back, both of you. Okay, sounds good. Perfect. You bet. Thanks, Gunnar. Dana, you're there. I was afraid you were like on the floor and couldn't get up and like it. I would I would start by putting something under your back just so you can feel it that the back is going down. Don't try to get it to the floor. Put something underneath there so that just that little movement, you can feel that whatever it is, and then you can start to do a little more if you want, or just leave it with that whatever you've got under your back. Yeah, the 100. Why would you do that? Yep, totally get it. Congrats. Right. Neither do I. Totally get that. Yep. Totally agree. I totally agree. And you know, you talk about what you can't do, but at least you went back to what you could do. You got down on the floor and you got back up. I mean, it's a step at a time. You used to do Pilates. You may not ever be able to do Pilates in the same way again. You know? That yeah. Frickin'. Frickin'. Yep. Yeah. Yep. 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 Totally agree. Right. So you're stronger for it. There you go. You bet, Dana. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. All right. The heck is all that noise?